Should we be referring to this as the Women's Skateboard Park Final or the Women's Skateboard Park Qualifier? Or Qualifier? It's kind of interchangeable. Yes! Yes! Final. I mean, we're at the Road to X Games Qualifier. Heat of the moment, baby. I'm a big Asia fan. I don't know if you know that about me. I'm a big Asia fan.
I know you know your 80s.
Yeah.
So, Marty, Asia blasting in your ear. Brando's asking how we should refer to this final.
Like each individual final in the final. Are we in the Women's Skateboard Park Final or the Women's Skateboard Park Qualifier?
Final. You know what I'm saying?
They seem sort of interchangeable. It's the final. Yeah, I'm with you. Cool. Yeah. Right.
But we can't say those things together because it sounds terrible.
No, but yeah,
just go
the final. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
All right, let's rock
The Road
this.
to X Games Final.
Is it a double or nothing if we get a heat of the moment reference in the first run?
Run one, you think? All right.
Nothing spells party in Idaho like a little Asia on a Saturday.
Now, remember that 40-year-old virgin? He has an Asia poster.
Yes, framed.
Yeah, he's like, dude, look at your house. You have a framed Asia poster on the wall. Who has that?
I had an Asia concert T-shirt.
I'd love to see it. Do you still have it?
Why are you not wearing this shirt?
Why do you keep wearing this shirt when you have an Asia
I
concert
bought it at
tee?
the rock and roll store in the mall. You know, I was like such a nerd.
See, this is why Quotables needs to come back in the Dex Daily Update.
Yeah, exactly.
I worked in radio in the 80s.
Did you? Oh my gosh, what a time.
I hate 80s music.
Was it
Oh,
Well, I like
we've
some
got a
80s
dissenter in the
rock,
booth.
but a lot of 80s pop stuff.
80s pop, 80s adult contemporary.
Hall & Oates.
What's up, everybody? Jack Matrani here at the Road to X Games Boise Park Qualifier. We're currently hanging out at Rhodes Skatepark here in Boise, downtown, and we got the best men's and women of both BMX and skate park here to reclaim their invitations for X Games Minneapolis. Let's put it this way. If you didn't earn a medal last year in skate or BMX park, you are here, putting it all on the line. So you better believe this contest will be at an all-time high and one you don't want to miss. Enjoy.
Welcome to beautiful Boise, Idaho, the city of trees. It's Rhodes Skatepark, aptly named as we're here at the Road to X Games. It's our official women's skateboard park qualifier, and it's going down right now. What's happening, everybody? Brandon Graham alongside my good friend Jimmy Coleman. And Jimmy, I know this is an event you're very excited about as it makes its triumphant return just a year removed. We saw it in X Games Austin after not seeing it the previous three.
Well, we're still in the infancy of women's park skateboarding in the history of the X Games. First time they ever had women's park skateboarding contested back in 2013 as part of the global expansion that year, all the way over in Barcelona, Spain. Last summer in Austin, and this is really only the third time the women have got to compete in park, and the field is looking great. Some young talent out there, and the future of women's park skateboarding looking pretty solid.
Now, this is an actual skate park here in Boise, Idaho, so I have to ask, what are the judges looking for out here today?
Well, with an existing skate park, that means some of these athletes had a chance to get here early, get some extra practice in. But what it all comes down to is a couple of different factors. One of the big ones, use of course. This is a bigger course than what we've seen at X Games in the past, so the judges want to see you using everything that the course has to offer. It's also going to come down to consistency, trick variety, style. Does it look good while you're doing it? And of course, who can stay on for an entire 45-second run?
Now, our podium already qualifying to X Games Minneapolis 2017, but there's still some big names in this field, including 12-year-old Brighton Zoyner and, of course, Nicole House.
She looks like one of the veterans out there. Brighton just flying through this course, working the corners, over the hips. She's got big tricks. She's got good technical variety. She's a heavy favorite here. But Nicole House, that's a great story right there. Her hometown, Stillwater, Minnesota. What does that mean? Well, with the X Games in July being in Minneapolis, she's hungry because she wants to compete basically for what would be a home show for her. So she's hungry. She wants it here today.
Well, for more on today's final, we head over to the third member of our team, Corbin Harris.
Thank you, gentlemen. We are here in Boise, and this crowd, I'm telling you from yesterday, qualifying was amazing. How is this crowd here? You guys are unbelievable. That's what I'm looking for. The girls is about to get underway. This is the biggest girls contest in skateboarding. A lot of nervous girls out there, 12 of them about to battle it out for 4 spots going through to Minneapolis. And I haven't seen camaraderie between girls like this ever in sport. They're cheering them on, they're behind each other, and they're loving it. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Corbin. Yeah, Boise showing their support loud and proud during qualifying yesterday, and here for the final, they have come correct. A packed house, Jimmy.
You know, the whole town's excited about this. I mean, everybody from the mayor down to all the skate moms and dads here. I mean, even my Uber driver on the ride in from the airport the other day was completely just thrilled that this event's here. And what a great crowd on hand out here this afternoon to see the girls throw down here in the park.
Well, let's meet our roster of talent taking place in the final today. We kick things off with 20-year-old Fabiana Delfino out of Boca Raton, Florida.
Yeah, she came up in the Florida Grind for Life skate contest scene, the same scene that brought Alex Sorgente to prominence.
And there we see, out of Brazil, Indiaria Asp.
Well, she spends a lot of time skating in Brazil with none other than Pedro Barros in his backyard pool.
That's a great mentor to have.
Yes, it is.
And there we see, out of Encinitas, the hotbed of skateboarding, Bryce Wetstein.
You know, just recently decided to join the pro ranks. Her first pro contest was back in January, the beginning of this year.
There's a young lady that is no secret to the X Games stage. She's been in X Games 5 different times, 20 years old, out of El Segundo, Alicia Lee.
First time we saw her in X Games, she was just 12, and now she's 20 and heading into her senior year at the University of California, Irvine.
Love this story. Our youngest competitor today, 11 years old. If she were to qualify for X Games, she would be the youngest athlete in the history of X. Minna Stess.
She's been competing since age 5, now a legit contender, and what a great story that would be if she makes it to Mini.
Another one of our Brazilian powerhouses, 15 years old, Dora Varea.
The 2017 Brazilian national champion, dominating the Brazilian Skate Federation Women's Bowl Series since 2015.
And here's a 19-year-old trying to get to X Games Minneapolis because it will be a home game for her out of Stillwater, Minnesota, Nicole House.
Well, we talked about it at the top of the show. She's hungry. She wants this. She was looking on point in the qualifier yesterday afternoon.
Speaking of on point, 22-year-old Hawaiian skater Hunter Long looked hungry in eliminations yesterday.
You know, she was cruising through this course with dominance. She's got a laid-back, smooth, kind of surfy style, and she's looking pretty solid out here. She's a contender for sure.
Well, she finished in the top 10 last year at X Games Austin. She's 17 years old, our lone Aussie skater in the field, Poppy Starr Olson.
She just turned pro in 2016, just before winning the Vans Combi Bowl event that January. The second youngest to win it, and the first Australian, by the way.
Here's a skater that seems coming out of nowhere, made some noise as a kid, then we didn't really see her for a while. She made her presence known yesterday in this bowl, 25 years old, out of Huntington, Hannah Zanzi.
I tell you what, she skates fast, she's very aggressive, and she's got some pop and she's got some boost. You see these ollies coming over the hips. Watch out for her on these big transition elements.
Here's someone we're excited about, an Am from Japan. She's 16 years old. Christian Hosoi sponsored her on the spot after her performance in the Exposure Bowl Am win last November. Kiana Ogawa.
She doesn't speak very much English, but I tell you what, her skating speaks for itself when she's on course, and what a great sponsor to have, a great mentor right there with Christian Hosoi.
And finally, perhaps the favorite to win this thing outright, and if you watched her yesterday, you know why. 12 years old, just finished off the podium at X Games Austin last year. Brighton Zoyner.
Yeah, she was knocking on the door there at X Games Austin 2016, and the youngest woman to compete at X Games and the 4th youngest ever, but she was our top qualifier coming into this thing, and she was looking solid out there on course as well, Brandon.
Here's a look at our finals format. All 12 skaters getting 3 45-second runs. Of course, the best run counts, and oh, by the way, top 4 qualify for X Games Minneapolis 2017.
I'll taking a look at our judges right there. You've got Lincoln Ueda there on your left-hand side. Then you got the Neils in the middle. You got Neil Mims and Neil Hendricks, and then Mike Sinclair over there on the far right-hand side, your head judge. And those guys, well, like we talked about, you know, in the open of the show, they're looking for a little bit of everything. It's a grab bag out there. It's trick variety. It's trick difficulty. It's flow, and you got to stay on for 45 seconds.
We've brought the heavy hitters out here to Boise, and we are ready to kick things off. Again, so much pressure out here today for these young ladies with 4 spots at stake to get into X Games Minneapolis. Last year's podium already qualified, but here dropping in, Fabiana Delfino.
I like how she starts off this run. She uses that top end of the course almost like a snake run there to try to generate some speed. Slingshots the deep bowl corner and then comes back into the higher end, if you will, of the shallow end of the course.
As we said, last year's podium already qualified. That's Jordan Barrett, Lizzie Armanto, and Kisa Nakamura, who will be joining those 3 in Mini.
Just gets hung up on that almost vert quarter pipe right there. It looked like the back truck just kind of got bonked out of position there, hitting the pool coping. But again, a little bit of time left on the clock. Traditionally what we've seen in the past in park events, when you fall, the run's over, but you get to get up and finish out your time here. It's a big course. We talked about that earlier. It's a little bit bigger than what we've seen the last 2 times that Women's Park has been contested at the X Games.
So that's going to do it for Fabiana's first run. Again, unlike eliminations yesterday where the skaters only got 2 attempts, you get a 3rd run here. How important is that when it comes to strategy in a final, Jimmy?
I think it takes the pressure off. You've got 1 more run to work with there, and it's tough. When you're the first skater out, whether you're in a final or whether you're in a qualifying run, it's not fun. I mean, everyone's looking at you. You've gone through practice, then you've got to stop. You've got to go through intros and whatnot, the whole opening, and the nerves get to you a little bit, and you're sort of setting the bar, not just for yourself, but also for the judging, if you will. It's never fun being the first one out of the gate. But the beauty of the format with the best run that counts, she can throw that one out. She can come back and improve on that in the next 2 rounds.
The bar officially set as Delfino puts down a 40 on the dot. But here is Indy Asp, 19 years old, out of Florianopolis, Brazil, as you said, mentored by 6-time skateboard park gold medalist Pedro Barros.
Yeah, skates a lot. His backyard pool there in Florianopolis, Brazil. There's the slob fast plant, but look at her style. Look at how she's fast through the corners, and she's very aggressive. Watch her when she locks into her grinds, whether it's on the metal coping or the pool coping. I like her style.
I also like the tasseled vest look she's got rocking tonight.
Definitely get some style points. Oh, look at that float in the front side stalefish. And the boneless just not able to get that front foot back on the grip tape there with about 10 seconds left as she goes down on the fall.
Again, as you said, Jimmy, this is a big course. You've got to cover a lot of ground in this bowl. Wow.
That's not a bad way to come back and get in there and throw an invert in the mix, come back with the layback air at the end of that. But again, watch her speed, watch her style. Looking like she might have dinged her right ankle on that one on the fall. Look at this. This is what I'm talking about right here. Look at the way she just powers into that stand-up frontside 5-0. That's pool coping right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Coping, and she gives it a nice little hand slap. Style for days from Indy.
I love that. And right here, you see it looked like the toe just got the end of the board, or the edge of the board there on the boneless. Yeah, you see her kind of favoring that right ankle just a bit right there. That's never any fun. You get sometimes a board will roll down and hit you in the Achilles tendon, and that one takes a little bit of time to shake off.
So a 63 for Asp as she dumps into that top spot of our 12-woman field. Next to drop in, 13-year-old riding for Silly Girls Skateboards out of Encinitas, Bryce Wetstein.
That 63 is still a pretty respectable score despite the fall.
Right.
So that tells me that the judges are saying, hey, you know what, before the fall, they like the speed, they like the aggressiveness. We'll see what Bryce can get done in her first of 3.
Bryce just finished 7th grade. She's got a surf-inspired style, as you will see.
Yeah, and she's on point with the grinds and the lip tricks, taking that backside ollie over the hip as she works her way into that deep bolt corner. Oh, and look at that.
Wow.
The 50-50 to fakie and comes out with a cab axle stall out of that. That was a nifty little combo line. What's so crazy about that 50-50 to fakie, there's 2 ways to do that. You can pivot your way back in out of that, or you can slide that in. She slides that in. Now, why that's so crazy on pool coping, that stuff sticks out pretty far. So once you get to a certain point, you're sliding around, you hit the point of no return. That's full commitment. And it's just crazy how she does that.
Yeah, talking to her yesterday, she prefers traditional pool coping to metal coping. You see why. She says 50-50 grinds are her favorite tricks to put down in bowls.
Doubling up on that one. You get the 50-50 to fakie there on the metal coping on the smaller side. And that's what I'm talking about. She's got a nice little arsenal of lip tricks there, but working the shallow as well as the deep end of the course.
A clean first run for the 13-year-old Wetstein. Take another look.
This is going to be where, okay, so watch that she just slides around it. You get to a certain point on that, and there's no coming back from that. And out of that, she gets that cab to axle stall, the Caballero. We call that fakie 360, invented by Steve Caballero. The axle stall where you're stalling on both trucks up on top of the obstacle there.
So a 67, a very strong run 1 score for Bryce Wetstein, putting her up into the top spot.
So nicely done there, and that's good. You know, you get that first run out of the way, you're like, all right, the nerves kind of taper off a little bit, and then you're like, okay, I can breathe a little bit. I can throw a couple extra things into the mix here in rounds 2 and 3. You can kind of see right there, almost a sigh of relief.
Totally. Well, let's face it, Jimmy, so many of these girls have never been on the X Games stage. This is probably the most nervous they've ever been heading into a contest. Maybe not Alicia Lee, who's been at X Games 5 times before. She competed in women's vert in 08, 09, and 2010. And we saw her at Park last year where she finished a respectable 5th.
Yeah, she's got, ironically, all 3 of her vert placings were all 7th place finishes. Her Park finishes, she's got a 5th from last year in Austin and a 6th in Barcelona, all the way back in 2013 when the X Games went on the global expansion with a backside air. She was moving into that deep end with a good clip of speed there.
Alicia, now 20 years old. We saw her burst onto the X Games stage in that vert comp back in 2008 when she was just 12 years old.
That's why it's just baffling to me when the she's 20, and she's in her senior year at UC Irvine. We'll have to see what this does in the overall scheme of things score-wise. Here's, I think it was a tail grab. Going into that deep in there. I like this. She comes up on the vertical wall ride. Haven't seen too many of the girls use that feature. Comes back out of that. There's the frontside ollie over that hip. See where the judges are going to place Alicia here. Bryce Wetstein sitting in that top spot right now with the 67, and we're into the
No longer,
70.
a 71.66, and it wasn't necessarily the cleanest of runs, so she knows what she can do to pick things up, but a very strong score as Lee takes over the top spot. Here is 11-year-old Minna Stess. Chatted with her and her parents before today's final. She's excited. She just loves to skate. You know, you look at some of the young athletes and you wonder, do they worry or stress out about the magnitude of the stage? I don't get that from Minna. It just seems like she's out there skating, having a blast.
Well, you know, that's the thing. This younger generation, they don't feel the pressure. It's just another session for them. They can care less about the crowd, the TV cameras and whatnot. They're just out there doing what they do every day. Oh, kick flip up onto the red parking curb there and up and over and into that very street-like section of the course there. Frontside air over the hip. She gets a mute air in the corner there. She's so tiny.
Minna is 4'6", 68 pounds.
Coming up backwards into the gate twist there, grabbing mute,
Whoa.
coming up fakie into the 360.
What a first run for Minna Stess, 11 years old. So in addition to skating park, she also skates street. And if she were to qualify for X Games Minneapolis, as I said at the top, she would actually beat out Jagger Eaton for the youngest ever athlete to compete on the X Games stage.
There's a look at the backside ollie coming out of the deeper end of the course, like a kick flip. And just kind of pops that
like
one
a
over
boss.
that parking curb there. She kind of lost some speed there in that deep end towards the end of the run. See, look, there's no pressure. The kids don't feel the pressure.
You could not ask for a better run if you're Minna Stess. We'll see what the judges thought of that. Lee in first place right now with that 71.66.
I tell you what, as going back to what I was saying, it felt like she lost some speed there in the end, but she still managed to salvage that and just give it the extra pump coming down the walls there and managed to, I mean, she didn't deviate the run. She didn't let it throw her off. She stayed with the formula that was working for her yesterday. Nice job by the 11-year-old.
60.33. Here's Dora Varela. She's your 2017 Brazilian national champion, and Christian Hosoi has been mentoring and sponsoring Dora.
That's a pretty good one to throw in the stat sheets right there when you have none other than Holmes himself that is your mentor. That's big props right there.
To have a legend in your corner, that means everything. As we're seeing Dora on the X Games stage for really the first time. She was an alternate in Austin in 2016. She did not hit the course. We'll see if she can get to the Minneapolis stage.
You know, you look at that style there, and there's a layback here. Second time we've seen one of those here in the women's comp. And the backside disaster. I don't think we've seen one of those yet here. Oh, and the front side rock and roll. So added degree of difficulty there. She does that in the deep end. What do you, 9 feet maybe on that corner right there?
Yeah.
9.5 feet there. And then the front side air, front side grab. It's a quick disaster there. You just look at her style. It's effortless. The way she just flows through this thing. Let's see what we get on the replays there. There's that high-speed 50-50 powering through that corner with that pool coping right there. That pool coping is very porous. It tends to grab the truck sometimes. She just powered through that thing like a boss, and there was the backside disaster. One truck in the lip, one truck over the deck right there. She's just another day at the office for Dora.
She's coming in hot, Jimmy. Won the Vans Park Series Brazilian National Championship. First place in the Girls Combi Pool Classic.
The last 2 years in a row on that one in the AM division. Oh, look, we got an Australian flag hanging there in the background. Got some Aussies representing here. So what is it going to be for Dora here? You need a 71.66 or better if you're going to take the lead away from Alicia Lee as of right now.
There we see our next skater to drop in, Nicole House, as we await Dora's score. A 61.
Look at that shirt, Surf
for
Club
Dora.
Minnesota.
Well, perhaps no one is more motivated to get into X Games Minneapolis than the Minnesota native, Nicole House.
You know, last year she was in Austin for Park. She
The X Games would be like amazing to me. Just like having all my friends and family live like right in Minnesota and Wisconsin, and like so it's gonna be cool. Like if I make it, I'm stoked for them to come watch me because you know they never really get a chance to come out to California and see me skate. But so it's gonna be cool if it happens. I'm stoked.
So as I was saying, she had to decide if she was going to walk in the cap and gown at her high school graduation.
Oh, last year, that's right.
Or go compete in Austin at the X Games. I think you made the right choice there, Nicole.
Nicole House, just a fantastic skater, a fantastic young lady, great family. I've gotten to know her parents. She's a terrific ambassador for women's skateboarding, and I think skateboarding in Minnesota as a whole. We'll see if she can get back onto the X Games final stage.
That follow cam shot right there gives you a pretty good idea of what the girls are contending with there. Oh, man, that backside ollie, that front foot started slipping and moving around. The heels were kind of off the grip tape on that one, so that was a great save right there.
Oh!
Big frontside air in the pocket corner, but you just look, it's inverted.
Oh!
Plant the hand on the invert, and
she was on one, Jimmy.
Well, there were a couple different moments there where she was hanging on for dear life, and it looked like that back truck bonked the coping on the way in on that invert. But what I was going to say was in that follow cam shot, you just see how she kind of works through. You've got a lot of little different hips and corners and different things to work with in this course, and she kind of like threw that shallow in. She was working and put a little something in on every little feature there in her way. There's a frontside ollie over the hip, and watch this. She carves through with the 50-50. Watch the backside ollie, just all toes on that one. And that front foot just kind of sliding a little bit on the grip tape there.
Nicole is certainly in a zone right now. The 19-year-old mentored by Mimi Noop and lives with Cara Beth Burnside riding for Hoopla Skateboard, so she has the right people in her corner.
Well, again, with 3 runs, you know, the fall, not too much fun the first outing, but you've got 2 more shots at it there. But
we're seeing decent scores even with falls here on run 1.
That backside ollie, I don't know how she got out of that.
Well, look at this, a 68.33 even with the fall, good enough for second place. We still have some skaters left to drop in for the first run, but a solid score for an imperfect run.
Well, you can see right there, she's shaking her head a little bit. She definitely wasn't thrilled with that run, but it was an interesting ride right there. The save on the backside ollie was impressive, Nicole.
Next to drop in, 22-year-old Hunter Long. She finished in 6th place last year at X Games Austin.
Cruising through that deep end, frontside grind, little frontside pivot there up on that recessed flat wall. Frontside air. I like this little combo line a lot of the girls are using right there, going off that deep end corner there, going into that kind of hip recessed flat wall. And an eggplant, another invert. Man, oh man, that back truck looked like it bonked the coping coming in on that backside disaster. And that trick is appropriately named because if that truck clips, it is disaster on the bottom there, but she's able to roll away from that one and keep on going here. Just has to hang on for another 10 seconds, Brandon.
A recent graduate of the University of Hawaii. You can catch her all over YouTube. She's very involved in business, entrepreneurship, yoga, trail hiking. Very well-rounded is Hunter Long as she completes run 1.
Okay, so there's that front side there. That was a great shot of that right there. You're getting the in-your-face view. So the eggplant right there, it's an invert. You're basically grabbing with your trailing hand, or what we call indie grab in skateboarding, and you kind of have to like flip yourself upside down and then put your hand down and hope that it's going to catch the coping there. Nicely done on the eggplant. The frontside invert was what she fell on at the end. It's basically the opposite of it's the same kind of thing, but you're just turning the opposite direction there. See if she can clean this up in rounds 2 and 3.
61.66, good enough for 5th. Yes, if you're just joining us, each of the 12 ladies here in today's final get 3 attempts on this course. We, of course, count the top score. Alicia Lee still holding on to that top spot with a 71.66. We'll see if that changes with our next skater to drop in, 17-year-old Aussie, Poppy Olson.
Already training with the Australian Olympic team in preparation for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics.
Yeah, that's something we really haven't even touched on yet today, Jimmy, and that is we've got park finals going on today. Oh, by the way, welcome to the Olympics, Skateboard
That
Park.
is a huge thing, the 2020 Olympics going on in Japan, and happy to see Skateboard Park is in there. They just announced that BMX Park's going to be in. That just started to come out on social media yesterday. So that is a big thing in the action sports community.
Poppy Olson, looking so good yesterday in eliminations, and you can see why with this style. She skates well beyond her years.
A couple of backside grab airs there. Lean tail slide there, so definitely getting some use of course points here, and she stays on for a full pull, a full 45 seconds there. Nicely done there by the Aussie from Newcastle. Australian National Vert Champion in 2007, or March of this year. First at the Australian National Vert Championships.
She grew up skating Bondi Beach Bowl. She's given TEDx talks. I mean, she is
that was a
really remarkable
Look at that,
teenager.
Grabbing around the lead knee there, the tuck knee invert.
Was that enough to take over the top spot? It felt like it to me, and it did to the judges. A 74 on the dot.
Wow.
As
so
Olson jumps into first.
That's almost a 3-point separation between her and Alicia Lee right there. So,
but Alicia did not have a full pull.
That's a great point right there. We saw Alicia had a pretty high score even with the fall right there. Wow, look out. We have a powerhouse on course right now.
Hannah Zancy. If you've never watched her skate, buckle up.
The frontside air, tuck knee grab there, going over that hip, and then just kind of throws the little tweak into that, puts that back knee on the grip tape. But watch how aggressive she is. And the frontside 270 boneless over the hip.
So much force when she's on this course.
Oh, backside disaster, kicked that one around to backside Smith, getting some extra tech points right there on the lip tricks. So she just comes at this thing, just comes out high speed, just charging. And she's changed it up a little bit from what we saw yesterday in her line. She kind of worked her way back towards the shallow end or the high side of the course there, trying to use more of the course this go around. But man, when she comes out of the gate on those first few hits, she is just cruising.
Yeah, just so creative, and it's cool to see the old school flair in her skating.
Watch this, just tweaking that back knee out. So how about some style points right there? Doing this with a cast on that left wrist there, and then a big frontside air. Frontside sweeper.
And Poppy Olson in that top spot, who just put down a 74.
Trail sweeper, if you will.
Zancy skating just so differently than any of the girls in this field. We'll see if the judges like what they see, and they absolutely do. A 76 for Zancy, taking over first place.
Well, she gets 2 full points ahead of Poppy right there, and again, she still had some time on the clock, so she had a fall. So despite that fall, I mean, based on what we saw at her earlier in the run, the judges are saying, hey, you know what, it stands out, so that puts her in that top spot. But we still have 2 skaters left to go here in the run order, and this is just round 1 out of 3, Brandon.
Rapid fire. Kiana Agawa, 16 years old, riding for Hosoi Skateboards. This is really her first pro contest. Talking to Mimi Noop, she said, yeah, Kiana kind of came out of nowhere, but Christian Hosoi liked what he saw at a contest last November. She skates around with Kisa Nakamura, who of course is our gold medalist from Austin last year.
She was pre-qualified for this going into Minneapolis, but I like the style. I like the way that this young lady works the course. The frontside Smith grind comes out of it with a backside. I think she wanted to tail stall that. It ended up being a little bit of a slide. I don't know if that was intentional, but it worked.
Oh, she holds on.
The frontside 50-50 almost got away from her. That back truck sometimes will slide out of the way. You don't like that to happen, but she was not going to let that one go. And the Miller flip, that's an oldie but a goodie right there.
So final 5 seconds, she's coming up. Looked like she ran out of speed about midway through this run.
Yeah, I agree with you. The speed kind of tapered off. I don't know if maybe that frontside 50-50 kind of got in her head a little bit and threw her off, but what's key here is she didn't let it bother her that much. She salvaged it. She kept going. And again, going back to what we said about one of the earlier runs, she didn't alter the game plan at all. She stayed with the formula that worked for her yesterday.
And again, you get 3 cracks at this. So you don't have to lose your mind if it doesn't go according to plan. on your first run. But to be able to put down a full first clean run, that's all you can ask for, especially your first time on this X Games stage.
Oh, I didn't see that at real-time speed at the end of that. She got that kick flip to rock to fakie right there. So some nice little tech points there.
A 75.33, jumping Agawa up into second.
She's picking up where she left off yesterday in qualifier. You see some of the men there watching, cheering the girls on here today. That was Tom Starr and Clay Kreiner sitting in the background there, hanging out, surveying the action.
Next, dropping in the rainbow suspenders, 12 years old. She finished in 4th last year at X Games at just 11. She's Brighton Zoyner.
Oh, man, the frontside Smith grind. I've seen her do those pretty much all day long yesterday.
Brighton crushed it in eliminations yesterday. She really separated herself. And if you've never watched her skate before, you can see why the confidence that she rides this bull with is almost peerless.
Okay.
And to do it at 12 is insane.
She dropped right into that hand plant, and that's what we call an andirect. And that one's difficult because you're grabbing backside, which is your lead hand. It's behind you. It's on the back. It's on your heel edge of the board, and that one tends to flap away from your feet. She just dropped straight into that and handled it like a boss.
So again, not the run she was looking for, but you see glimpses of what she is capable of. There's a reason why she just missed the podium last year when she became the youngest female athlete to ever compete at X Games.
Look at this. Grabbing on your heel edge of the board, and then right out of that, she does a frontside disaster. That was pretty gnarly, dropping right into that andirect. Like I said, she just handled that like a boss. So a couple of slip-ups there. You're not going to see her fall on a frontside Smith grind twice. That's not going to happen. So you know in that second run, she's going to power through that like it's nothing.
A 46.33, but the judges know what to expect out of Brighton Zoyner.
Well, yes, and you know the thing is her mind right now. She's got a short-term memory loss. You got to get rid of that. Get that out of your head. Forget about it. Treat run 2 like it's a brand new. It's a clean slate basically with each run, with best run that counts. So you can see she's a little frustrated by that, but we've gotten through round 1 here, buddy.
Yeah, run 1 officially in the books. 2 more attempts to go, and it's Huntington Beach Hana Zansi in the top spot. But for more on the course, we head down to our main man, Corbin, who I believe is with Bobby Olson.
Yeah, thank you so much, Brandon. Flawless first run going into it, sitting in 3rd position right now. What's your strategy moving forward?
I guess I kind of just tried to put together a kind of easy run for me, but it was still really hard, and I don't know, I just kind of tried to put a run together that I kind of knew that I had in the bag, and that's what I did. I tried to change it up a little bit, and that's what.
Are you going to try and change a couple of tricks up now, moving into the 2nd and 3rd run?
Yeah, the 2nd and 3rd run, I'm going to try and step it up a lot.
All right, well, good luck out there.
Thanks, Corbin.
Guys.
Well, thank you, Corbin. So much good action going down in run number 1, but we're just getting started here in the Women's Park Final. Runs 2 and 3 coming up next. Welcome back to the Road to X Games. It's our Boise Park Qualifier Women's Skateboard Park Final. Make sure you get your tickets right around the corner. X Games Minneapolis going down July 13th through the 16th at our brand new home, US Bank Stadium.
I have not been to the stadium yet. You have. I'm a little
jealous.
jealous.
I've been a couple of times. What an incredible complex US Bank Stadium. I've never seen a stadium this cool, and for us to call that home, simply amazing.
I'm looking forward to it. Right now, I'm looking forward to round number 2.
Yeah, if these girls show us what they did in run number 1 and improve upon that, look out. Start list beginning again. Fabiana Delfino currently sitting in the bottom, 12th place, trying to replace that 40.
Oh, no, the front side 5-0, and she kicked that thing to lip slide. That one does her in early in the run there, so the problems continue here in round number 2. I'm digging the Led Zeppelin t-shirt, though. She's getting style points out here today.
Loving the attire out here today. Between that, the rainbow suspenders we saw on Brighton Zoyner, the tasseled vest from Indy Asp. It's game day out here.
Well, that one's going to be a toss-away run there for Fabiana. But, you know, she's still got one more shot at it.
Eliminations yesterday, each of the ladies only getting 2 runs on this course. Now they're getting a 3rd attempt here in today's final. So Fabiana really putting the pressure on herself to deliver on her 3rd and final attempt.
Yeah, you know, with 12 in the field and only 4 X Games spots up for grabs. Oh, she went into switch stance on that. I didn't see that from the angle that we had at real-time speed. She switched stance that up. She just jumped around on the board there going up into that grind. But the pressure is on for her in that 3rd round. Remember, it's best run that counts as we go through this. If you're watching at home, best run that counts. So she's down, but she's not out. She's got one more shot at it.
Last year's podium, Jordan Barrett, Lizzie Armanto, and Kisa Nakamura have already qualified for X Games Minneapolis. There are 4 spots up for grabs. Who is going to earn them? We find out here and now. Here's Indy Asp, currently in 7th place.
Again, with that front side stand-up grind like a boss in that corner, there's that slob fast plant. You're grabbing with your lead hand, turning front side. Working that vert wall ride feature there, the wall ride support column, I guess, for lack of a better term on that thing. That's actually a support column for the 184 bridge that's over the park. And the front side stalefish. Remember the heel we talked about?
Yeah, she's grabbing her heel. Yep.
That's a bummer, man. Like, I don't know if the board ended up rolling into her heel and maybe hitting her on the Achilles tendon or it's a stone bruise, but that is not an easy thing to shake off. If you remember, I talked about that at the end of her first run. You can see how she's kind of hobbling there. That'll ruin your day real fast, but she's got a good first run under her belt.
Yeah, that was giving her fits.
Look at this.
At the end of run 1, but look at that.
Powers into that like a boss, standing up on the front side 5-0. There's that slob fast plant right there. Puts that one down. It was a nice little combo line. The stand-up frontside 5-0 going through the corner. Come out of that with a frontside air on that wedge hip. And then the slob plant. And yeah, that face says it all.
Yeah, she will hold on to a run 1 score.
You get dinged with the nose or tail of your board in the Achilles tendon, and it is no bueno.
So here's Bryce Wetstein, currently sitting in 6th. Had a clean first run, put down a very respectable 67. Now, Jimmy, we'll have to see if the trick difficulty increases ever so slightly and she can bump up her score.
Well, you know, let's see what it does. You know, her overall mindset, her face said it all at the end of that run. She just kind of, she looked like she had the
she
weight
was
of the
holding
world
on
her shoulders, and you could just hear her just go, like it's done, I got through it. So now she can just kind of do her thing. Here we go with that 50-50 to Figgy like a champ. No problem. Slide that one through. There's that cab axle stall again. Rock and roll up on that.
And again, so many of these young ladies in today's final have never skated on the X Games stage. You want to talk nerves of steel.
I think 5 in the field have competed in X Games before.
Correct.
So she changed up the line a little bit. She got a lean to tail in there, but again, rock and roll up on that curb. That's kind of hard to do. I know you're looking at it, if you're watching home, you're like, well, it's kind of a small feature. Yeah, it's a wedge, and then it's a parking curb that's on top of that thing. So when you get up and you put your board on that, it kind of gets wonky and it wants to turn funny, and then coming back into that.
We'll see how the judges score 13-year-old Bryce's 2nd run. It's a youth movement out here today. 2/3 of our field under the age of 20.
Like we said, the future of women's park skateboarding looking good. The kids are all right. How about that? There's a backside air. And right there, lean to tail. We didn't see that out of her in her first run, I believe. And she looks a little more calm and relaxed at the end of round 2 than we saw the first time around.
So a 66.33. She will hold on to her run 1 score, and 6th place is where she will stay.
All right, so that'll be interesting to see what she does. I wonder if they're keeping an eye on the leaderboard down there. I know there's a video wall out there, but I wonder if the girls are paying attention to that, or if they're just out there, they're just all focused on the skating.
So here's Alicia Lee, who put down a 71.66. Again, the top 4 in today's final will qualify for X Games Minneapolis. She's currently sitting in 4th place.
So she's on the bubble for one of those qualifying spots to go to the land of 10,000 lakes. There's that front side grab, quick disaster there. She got a boosting front side boneless on that. The recessed wall, I guess you want to call it, kind of angles back. It's got a little bit of a hip on it. And the invert tuck knee grab, so extra degree of difficulty there. You're grabbing around with your hand around the lead knee.
So we'll see if she tries to get back up. Final 5 seconds. She may have to wait for her 3rd and final attempt, and that's what she'll do. Trying to give herself a little bit more breathing room, Jimmy.
Well, I was going to say, you're in that bubble spot. You feel, it's a false sense of relief because you're like, man, there's a lot more skating still to go. Look at that. That was a great shot of the tuck knee invert right there. And when you do inverts, you're grabbing between, kind of opens up your stance, you're grabbing between both your knees there. With the tuck knee, you're wrapping that lead arm around that lead knee, and it kind of compresses you in when you get inverted.
So 4th place is where Lee will stay.
She doesn't look phased by it
no,
whatsoever.
Not at all. But this isn't her first rodeo. She's one of our X Games veterans out here today.
She's got 3 vert appearances, 2 park appearances, 2 park, and the only 2 contested X Games women park events all the way back in Barcelona, as the locals say there in 2013, and then last year in Austin. But look out.
Here is 11-year-old Minna Stess, who really put down a great run, but again, she's just so small, Jimmy, that it's just tough for her to generate the speed and power necessary to maybe put up some of the bigger tricks that we're seeing out here today.
I was thinking that yesterday as I was watching her skate, but somehow, some way, she just manages it. She's just using that little section right there like a mini ramp, but I like how she started off this run. She got up on that deck section that's got some street style elements there, that little transfer going up to rock and roll up on that little hip wall. And how did she get that back over? Did you see how close that back truck was to the coping there?
Out of Petaluma, California, riding for Santa Cruz Skateboards, Minna Stess just wraps up her 2nd run. It was funny, Jimmy, I was asking her before the comp. I said, so do all your friends skate? And she goes, no. She goes, my friends, they all scooter.
Uh-oh. No comment.
Yeah. But you know what she said? She says, I don't hold that against them.
I wonder if you look at the size of that sweatshirt right there. It's like a Talking Heads video. She gets a little lost in that thing. I wonder if that slowed her down, maybe caused a drag effect.
Yeah, we're starting to see the long sleeves coming out as it's getting just a little chilly out here in Boise.
That took every ounce of energy she had left to just get up onto the lip with it.
A 55.33 for Minna, so she will also hold on to her 1st run score. So far in attempts number 2, no skater has upped their run 1 score.
I'm going to say, it looks like it might all come down to the 3rd round here from what we've seen thus far. But again, going back to what we said in her 1st run, she does not look phased. It is another day.
Oh, no, not at all.
At the, minus her scooter friends, of course. It's another day at the office there for Minna.
So here's Dora Varela. She's sitting in 9th place, put down that 61 out of Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Not too many of the women are using that column support wall ride feature there, and looking like she was trying to do a feeble grind there in that deep corner, and that does not work out for her. She's still got a lot of time left on the clock. Again, it's 45-second runs. So you've got some time to work with here. If you fall, time does not start. Your run's not over. You get to get back up and keep going as she comes back with that layback air. Layback air into the backside disaster combo. There's that frontside rock and roll. Making that one look, that's a hard trick in a deep corner.
Amongst her favorite tricks, she says. Again, mentored and sponsored by skate legend Christian Hosoi. You could see the influence there. Dora Varela, did she do enough to bump herself out of 9th place?
Where's the 60? I don't know.
Put down a 61.
I think the trend might end up continuing here for her, and she may stay. It'll be right around the same score, I think, but I don't think it's going to improve the spot at all. There's a look after the fall, the layback air. You plant your trailing hand there. And this is subtle. So you're grabbing frontside, the frontside air, and it's quick. And then you smack that board down into what we call a disaster. In this case, the frontside disaster variety. One truck is over the lip into the ramp or feature, and the other one's over the deck. And then you just kind of pressure with the front foot, pop the nose, make the back truck come over right away.
So next to drop in, she's on the outside looking in right now. Nicole House trying to skate in front of her hometown crowd and get to X Games Minneapolis. Jimmy, she's been here for 3 weeks. Her and her parents came here in her family's RV. So she's been skating this park probably more than any other competitor in this final.
Okay, so that invert right there, that was one of the tallest inverts we've seen out of any of the girls in the field. She does that backside blunt 180 and then gets done in the deep end right there. That was off to a great, great run. And then the fall, she still got 17 seconds. Yeah, that's what I like about having these in an existing skate park. You can get out here and get as much practice time as you want. Wow, she tried to boost that alley-oop.
So Nicole did not have a clean first run, but the judges liked what they saw out of trick selection and gave her a very good 68.33, good enough for 5th place. If she can put it together and have a full pull on her 3rd run, I don't have any doubt about it. She will be in that top 4.
Well, this is where the mental game comes into play. Look at this, boosting that front side air. So there's the front side ollie over the hip, and look how tall that invert was. Just boosting to that, and then she does that backside 180 blunt over the hip. Just barely got over that hip and then gets kind of augured in there in that corner. And see, look at her right now. Look at her eyes. She's shaking her head right there. That's where the mind game comes in. It comes onto that 3rd round.
But you do
it's a factor.
That's not the spot you want to be in, though, Jimmy. When the top 4 qualified to X Games Minneapolis, 5th place is not where you want to be.
It's tough, though, man. You're trying to shake the memories of that out of your head. You know you can do it. It's almost, sometimes you almost have to just shut down your brain and just go into autopilot mode.
Here's Hunter Long. She's in 8th place, had a 61.66 in her first attempt.
So the sweatshirt trend is continuing here. Must be getting a little chilly out there. Everybody seems to be putting on the outer layer there. There's that eggplant. That might have been a tuck knee eggplant. I'm about to look at that again on the replay right there. If so, extra props to you, Hunter Long.
Again, if you're just joining us, this is the Women's Skateboard Park Final here at the Road to X Games Park Qualifier. 4 spots up for grabs to get into X Games Minneapolis.
All right, there you go with the frontside invert. Remember, she fell on that. So the eggplant and the frontside invert are very similar. It's the same grab. You're just turning different directions in both of those hand plants.
And there you see, heart check, sigh of relief. Do we buck the trend and see a higher run 2 score for the first time here in the final? Methinks so.
All right, so there's the front side grind right there, kind of scratching that pull coping. This is the front side invert at the end. That one's scary because, I mean, you're looking up at the sky for the most point, or in this case, the underside of the I-84 underpass, or I-184 underpass.
Get your Boise interstates right, Jimmy.
You know what? I'm getting there.
A 71.33, just enough to bump her up into 5th place, so still not into the top 4. Wow.
It's an improvement, though, and it kind of gets you in that mindset of like, okay, I'm knocking on the door. I've got one more run. I'm feeling good about this. So nicely done there by Hunter Long.
Poppy Olson, who put down a very strong 74 in her first attempt. She sits in 3rd place. Jimmy, what can she do to bump up her score and give herself a little bit more breathing room?
I tell you what, she played both ends of the table in her interview that we saw at the end of the round. She's like, my run was hard, but it wasn't. It's like, you've obviously been to media training. There's an alley-oop backside air. I like that one. Alley-oop, you're drifting the opposite direction you're turning. Oh!
Wow.
How about taking a foot off while you're upside down? The 1-footed invert, okay, changing up the line. She's adding a couple extra toppings into the mix. I like what she's doing here. Working those smaller bowl corners there. I think she's skating with a little more speed here than what we saw in round number 1.
Yeah, I would agree.
I would think the style is a little smoother this go around here. So maybe now that she's got that first one out of the way, she's like, all right, the nerves are gone, the pressure is off.
And, oh, she's unable to stick that, but otherwise a terrific run. 2017 has been a year of firsts for Poppy. First in the Australian Bull Riding Championships, first in the Vans Park Series Oceania Championships, and then first in the Australian National Vert Championships. All she does is win, win, win.
I see what you did there. dropping musical references here in the booth.
We're just getting started, Jimmy.
All right, right here, watch that back foot. I saw some daylight between the sole of that shoe and that grip tape. And then at the end, she tried to, if you're thinking, all right, that was the same trick, no, it's not. It was a different grab there. That was the direct, and she was taking off the front foot. So basically, that would have, for all intents and purposes, that would have been a judo direct,
right,
if you will.
So if she lands that, what does that do to the score? Because a 69.33 for run number 2, so she'll hold on to her run 1 score, but she also had it timed perfectly.
I am a huge fan of hand plants, but I don't think I've ever seen anyone do a judo direct before. I'm digging deep in the memory bank. I don't think I've ever seen that one.
Speaking of potentially old school tricks, we saw it in run number 1 from Hannah Zancy, our current leader, dropping in now.
That angle doesn't truly do it justice.
Why, because we couldn't see anything?
She is gnarly. There's the front side 360 to rock and roll out. How about just making it up as you go along right there?
And again, we didn't see this girl on the X Games stage last year, so many people are hitting us up on social media going, where did Hannah Zancy come from?
Backside disaster, kicks that one around to a backside Smith.
Yes.
The fakey pop bonus there, and again, doing all this with a cast on that left wrist there. My.
What a run for our current leader. You think she's got X Games Minneapolis on the brain? And in this youth movement, she's at 25, the eldest in the field.
She's just aggressive. I mean, she is gnarly on that first shot. Look at this. Boom! Wow. That is style for miles. You want to do a frontside ollie over the hip, that's how you do it. Look at this. Frontside 360, boom, and then frontside rocks out of that. Just grab, power around, slam that board down on the lip, and which is weird trying to get up and get out of it because you're crouched down from the grab, and then you got a frontside rock and roll out of that. You're just kind of turning your head over that lead shoulder. And
a strong score, 72.33, not enough to best her 76, but first place is where she will stay.
Well, that's where you want to be. But
skating right behind her, Kiana Agoa, sitting in second place, trying to replace that 75.33.
Front side ellipse slide with style, making it look way too easy. And again, I said this in her first round. I like her style. I like the way that she flows through the runs. Oh no, and then as I say that, she gets hung up. From that angle, it looked like, I don't know if she was trying to backside lip slide that. You see it from a different angle, or if that was just a backside disaster that kind of went awry there. Early grab in there, and there's that Miller flip. And I said it before, and I'm gonna say it again. I like to see the youth busting out the old school tricks. The Miller flip's been around in skateboarding for a long time, so you see the young ones busting out something like that, it kind of catches you off guard for a second. You're like, wait a minute. In this day of kick flips and heel flips and everything, and you're like, was that a Miller flip?
But it just plays up to the growth of this sport to see so many of these girls look back to really the golden era of bowl skating.
There's the Miller flip at the end. The backside, she's got the backside tail stalls on point.
So a 62. Agawa will hold on to her first run score. So next to drop in, 12 years old, sitting in 11th place. Can she get into that top 4 spot? That's what we were expecting. She's all style. Hear her in her own words now, Brighton Zoyner.
I think it would be insane because these girls are so good, insanely good, and there are actually more girls than last X Games, and it's just amazing. So I think it would be super cool if I could get in Minnesota.
She's so polished, Jimmy, and you can sense that she really understands what's happening here. And already at 12 years old, she's such a terrific ambassador for girls skateboarding.
Well, right now she's trying to shake off the memories from what happened in that first run there, and so far so good. She's off to a good start. Getting inverted there. There's that andirect into a front side disaster there, and she's cleaned it up. She looks like she's skating a little bit smoother this run here. There's a front side lip slide there on that shallow midsection, I guess you'd call it there. Backside air on that wall, kind of kicking out that back foot. There's that back side 180 blunt. The hits keep coming here in this run here for Brighton. I like it.
Final 5 seconds. This is the run we were expecting from
Zoiner!
Zoiner!
Backside disaster revert. Coming out the hard way.
Wow.
My. That is some added degree of difficulty, and at the end of your run, when you're almost out of gas, I like what she tried to do right there. Nice job, Brighton.
Gutsy, but a great run from Brighton. We've seen the judges have not penalized these skaters too much for a fall. That was otherwise a fantastic run for the 12-year-old.
Well, it was hard to see at that angle right there, but on that frontside lip slide, that back truck was dangerously close to the lip there. Here you go, backside disaster, and look where her back, I think that's what kind of, well, no, she just came down a little nose heavy there. So you're going into disaster, and then you're bringing that around, and you're blindside on that one. She almost had it.
So after a 46.33 on run number 1.
Well, she's going to get rid of that 46.33 for sure here.
Is it enough to jump into the top 4? It absolutely is a 72 on the dot, skyrocketing her all the way into 4th place.
So that'll put her in the bubble for now for one of, remember, there's only 4 Minneapolis spots up for grabs here today.
Wow, that is going to take some strategy to see what she does on her 3rd and final run, what the rest of the ladies do. But here is a look at our standings. 2 attempts in. Hannah Zancy still leading the way with that strong 76. Well, for more on our current leader, we head down to the 3rd member of our team, Corbin Harris.
Thanks very much, guys. Here we are with the #1 standing at the moment. Qualified 3rd going into yesterday. What's your strategy moving forward now?
Being more consistent.
Just going to try and up the ante, stay on board as much as possible?
Pretty much.
How'd you do this? She's also got a broken wrist right now and qualifying in first position. Give her a round of applause. How'd you do this right now?
I was just cruising, wasn't paying attention, and then hit a drain and fell.
There you go. We love you in the first position. Good luck in your 3rd run. Guys.
Thank you, Corbin. So Hannah Zancy with the broken wrist. Look at that. The cast on, and she's still putting it down, sitting in the top spot.
I like how matter-of-fact she was about it. I just hit a drain. I hit a drain. I'm in 1st place at the end of 2 runs.
Another beautiful look here at Rhodes Skatepark, Boise. The city of trees has been a fantastic host here to our Road to X Games qualifier.
You know, talking about this earlier, these people are just so excited that this event came to their town.
I want to remind you, fans at home, X Games Minneapolis right around the corner, going down July 13th through the 16th at US Bank Stadium in downtown Minneapolis. Get your tickets now, xgames.com/tickets.
Do you have your tickets yet?
I have not got them yet.
I meant your plane tickets. I know you don't need tickets. You'll get a credential.
I wouldn't put that past them. Who knows?
Okay.
I've had trouble getting into the venue in the past, so I'm just hoping that I can get in there this year.
Welcome
to
my world.
Just like that, run number 3, the 3rd and final attempts going down here in the women's park final. Fabiana Delfino sitting in 12th place.
All right, here's a young lady skating with purpose here, and as I say that, she gets hung up there. She had falls in the first 2 go-arounds, so she's down there at the bottom of the pack, and then the trend continues there.
We hope for better luck in attempt number 3. Only 2 skaters improved their scores in their 2nd runs, Hunter Long and Brighton Zoiner.
So just going through the motions here for this last bit of time. And I mean, you can, the camaraderie between all these women out there.
Totally.
You can hear them, you know, in the background there cheering each other on, whether you're having a great run or you're having problems.
No question.
They're all cheering one another on. You see them pop out of the chorus. They're all high-fiving, hugging one another. I mean, it's awesome to see the progression and, you know, and going back to what Brighton said earlier, like how many women there are in the field these days now.
So that's going to do it for Delfino. Next to drop in is Indy Asp. It'll be interesting to see how that heel is doing. It gave her problems after run number 1. It definitely seemed to give issue in her second attempt. She's sitting in 9th. Will Asp be dropping in for her 3rd and final run?
Yeah, that's a problem because with 4 transfer spots, she's a couple spots on the outside looking in, and you can definitely see after both of those runs, she's been favoring it. It's definitely not feeling 100%, that is for sure.
Our podium from last year, Jordan Barrett, Lizzie Armanto, and our defending gold medalist, Kisa Nakamura, they have all qualified to X Games Minneapolis. These 12 young ladies are competing for 4 spots to join them. So Indy Asp is going to give it a go.
So basically a third of the field will be moving on into Minnesota, and here we go. Despite that dinged up heel or Achilles tendon, she's going to give it a go, carving over that little love seat feature right there. There's that slob plant there in the corner. The slob part of that referring to the grab. I wasn't downplaying the actual trick itself. If you're going, why is he calling it the slob plant there?
Again, Indy skating with Pedro Barros, the king of park on the men's side. Can't think of a better mentor to have.
How about that for some style right there with the old frontside stalefish. Stalefish sounds rather disgusting, but it's a pretty cool grab. You're grabbing with your trailing hand behind your trailing foot.
And the sun poking its head back out. She had the tasseled vest on run 1, a windbreaker in run 2. She throws that off back to the vest in run 3.
Well, hats off to the wardrobe department there for the quick change. But this was the better of her 3 runs for sure. Look at this, there's the slob plant, grabbing with your lead hand, you're turning front side. The trail slide there, I didn't actually see that one at real-time speed, so you're turning front side, doing a tail slide, you're grabbing with your trailing hand right in front of your lead foot there.
So Asp's best run coming on attempt number 1, where she put down a 63. She's in 9th. Again, the top 4 will be moving on. It's final attempt time. Brighton Zoyner is holding on to that bubble spot right now. Zoyner is in 4th, a 68.66, so she improves her score and her standings just barely, but not enough to crack into the top 4. So Brighton Zoyner continues to stay in that elimination spot.
And you gotta give credit where credit's due after that, getting the dinger on the heel there or the Achilles tendon, and still coming back and skating for 2 more runs. She improves 2 placings. Great job there for Indy.
So 13-year-old Bryce Wettstein, who's looked good today, 2 full pulls, trying to best that score of a 67 from her first attempt.
Well, she's gonna need to have the best of her 3 right here because she's 5 spots out of a transfer spot as of right now, and there you go. That 50-50 fakie over that love seat feature right there in the corner. Kind of got lost in the top hat there, but oh, reverting out of that. Oh no!
Oh no!
Just comes up into the fakie hang up and looked like she was going to try to slide that one blindside. It's weird right there. It's not coping. They've actually set in stones there in place of coping, and I guess the old river rock got a little too slippery on her there.
Bryce, one of our 2 Encinitas natives here in the final, along with Brighton Zoyner. We'll see if she can improve her score as she's sitting in 9th place. Taking a look.
All right, so the 50-50 fakie coming in backwards right there. That term fakie means you're coming into a trick backwards or going into it backwards. And that was we took a flashback.
That was Indy Asp.
So, and I said love seat. What I was talking about was there's a feature that sticks out just underneath the coping there, almost like a love seat in an actual swimming pool. So you carve around that, add a degree of difficulty. Obviously, you can't roll back into the lip there on top of that. You'll end up crashing into that thing. So carving around that love seat feature right there. So when you see these girls go through the deep corner there, keep an eye out for that thing. Add a degree of difficulty for carving or grinding around that thing.
So a 60.66 for Bryce. Her day is over, but a very respectable performance on her first time in the X Games stage. 9th place is where she will stay. This is a big run here. 3rd and final attempt for Alicia Lee. She's in 5th place, right outside of that top 4 position. If she wants to get in, she's got to put it down right now.
All right, starts it off with a front side boneless. The axle stall setup for something big. A tail grab, frontside tail grab with a front truck bonk. They gave him a little bit of nose grind into that one there. So she's knocking on the door. She's one spot out. Can't she get it? Oh, she was going to try to boost the frontside boneless off of that sub box there into the little mini ramp section. Just under 10 seconds left on the clock for her. Let's see what she wraps up. We're going to try this again. There you go. Thought she was going to get it.
Unable to put it down, Alicia Lee. So not the run she was looking for, and it might just be a tough break for her, Jimmy, as she will undoubtedly finish outside of the top 4.
Well, she has 5 prior X Games appearances. This is how she started the run off with the front side boneless. Grabbing it with the trailing hand, plant the lead foot, turn front side, and well, the idea there, try to boost that one into the Idaho sky. Good looking front side boneless, but then she tried to boneless in off that concrete box. Tried it once, tried it twice, didn't work out.
Minna Stess, she's in 11th place. She's 11 years old. She's been fun to watch today, Jimmy. Really clean runs, but she's just so small. Again, if you're just joining us, 4'6", 68 pounds, 11 years old. She is a force in this park, make no mistake. She's been fun to watch. Look at that.
That's one we haven't seen out of her yet. The kickflip transfer over
Oh.
there. That kickflip onto the curb, up and over. And
her flip tricks in this bowl have been fun to watch, Jimmy. We've seen them all 3 runs.
Like the little hand plant, hop over back into the course right there. Little slider to fakie there, and this is where she kind of tends to run out of speed, but still, out of that slider coming back in fakie, she still manages to pull off the gate twist. I don't know how she had any speed for that. Gate twist, you're coming up backwards. It's a fakie mute grab 360. Mute, you're grabbing around your lead leg. Tuck knee.
Again, if Minna were to qualify for X Games Minneapolis, she would be the youngest athlete in X Games history. She would have to jump into the top 4. There you see her mom and dad showing love, trying to best that 60.33. This was a fun run.
There's that kickflip transfer over the hip. So you get 2 kickflips in this right here. So it comes up backwards, mute grab, grabbing your in that case, I mean, technically it's your lead hand, but in that case you're coming up backwards, so it's your trailing hand, but you're coming up backwards and doing a fakie 360 grab air. Do you wonder if Jagger Eaton's sitting at home watching this webcast going, man, my streak's about to get busted if she gets into Minneapolis. I want to be the youngest guy that ever competed in
Jagger was 11 years, 4 months when he participated in Skateboard Big Air back in 2012, and that streak will live on. Minna improves her score, jumped up to 9th, but not enough to get into that top 4. Here's Dora Varela, sitting in 11th place.
All right, let's see what Dora can get done here in this 3rd and final attempt. There's a feeble grind going through that deep end. Oh, look at high speed frontside 50-50. Working the pool coping, working the metal coping right there. Another frontside 50-50 there. And again, right here in this part, kind of using this as a snake run here to try to generate some speed. Nice, stylish front side Smith grind there. The Smith grind, you're locking your back truck onto the coping, and you've got your front truck and wheels just underneath the coping. Just kind of style that one out. There's that front side rock and roll. Wrapping up this last little bit of time here for Dora. Wasn't that front side grab a quick disaster, but I don't think she had the speed for that.
Right.
Coming up that last wall, looked like she was out of gas there.
Dora Varela sitting in 11th place. Again, top 4 from today's final will be qualifying to X Games Minneapolis. She put down a 61 in run 1, a 50.33 in run number 2, and we await her 3rd and final run score.
Well, that first slow-mo shot, that was a picture-perfect frontside Smith grind and the front side air over the hip, and there's your front side rock and roll. What is this one going to be for her?
So she improves her score, but not enough to move the needle as far as standings are concerned. 11th place is where she will stay. We now turn our attention to the top 4. Nicole House, who was considered a favorite heading into today is currently on the outside looking in. She's sitting in 8th place. The Stillwater, Minnesota native wants oh so badly to be able to skate in her home state. She's gonna have to put down a big one right now, Jimmy.
Well, that face kind of said it all. As she started that run, you definitely know she's thinking about it right here. She's got to hang on for 45 seconds and she's got to have the best of her 3. There's that backside alley. Remember, she did one of those in run number 1 and it was all over the place. She managed to save it, but I think that might have kind of thrown her off kilter throughout the rest of the run there. See what we can do with the rest of the frontside air. Wow, that one just got away from her there. Still 17 seconds.
There you see Brighton Zoyner sitting in that bubble spot of 4th. Nicole House, remember, she didn't have a clean first run, and she still got a strong score of 68.33. This can be salvaged. Wow!
Right, there you go, the frontside air. That's what she fell on, came back and did it again, did it big, and then that's going to be the undoing coming back
You
over
know,
that
Jimmy,
hip.
you can't fault her for a lack of trying. She literally left everything out there. She goes as massive as anyone in this field.
Like I said, at the top of the run, you could see the pressure was definitely on. You knew it was in her head right here. Boosting this one, grabbing frontside air. She's got some vert skills. As a matter of fact, she got first in the girls' comp at the Malmo Vert Attack in Sweden earlier this year. So she's using those vert skills right there to boost that frontside air. That was the second time around. The first time she tried it, she fell, got back up, threw it down like a champ there in that corner.
So a 62.66 is not enough to move House up. And shockingly, 8th place is where she will stay.
Well,
Hunter Long is the last girl in this final that can crash that top 4 party. She's sitting in 6th place. Brighton Zoyner's score of a 72 is that bubble score. She would need to best that to jump into the top 4.
so the girls in the top 3 know they're going to get a shot at it there. Brighton is going to have to watch on the bubble there.
So still plenty of time for Hunter Long, but not starting out a run the way she did in attempt number 2 on her way to that 71.33.
Just drops right back into that frontside invert. Handles that one like it's no problem there in that deep end. 20 seconds left. Going for another eggplant there, and that one looks like it's going to put this 3rd and final run in the books for Hunter Long there out of Honolulu, Hawaii, on the island of Oahu.
And that will do it for Hunter Long's run. Not what she was looking for, and we'll wait till it's official from the judges, but there you see Brighton Zoyner, who is sitting in that bubble spot. I think she can take a sigh of relief and smile, because unless Hunter Long's score jumps up, and I don't think that it will, our top 4 are officially set going to Minneapolis.
She can now officially breathe that sigh of relief.
Now it really just comes down to placement here in the top 4, as Hana Zansi, Kiana Ogawa, Poppy Olson, and Brighton Zoyner will be qualifying to X Games Minneapolis.
Yeah, the pressure is now off. I don't know if they know that yet. I'm sure Sports and Comp down there, I'm sure Jeff Jewett from California Rampworks has told them, hey, you know what, you're in. But you know what, I don't think they're going to lay up anyway.
So here's Poppy Olson, who skated very well today. Put down a strong 74 in her first attempt.
How about a strong backside air with conviction to start off that run? How about an alley-oop backside air? Alley-oop, there's that term again. You're drifting the opposite direction that you're turning. That's what I'm talking about whenever I say that.
So now, Jimmy, as we said, our top 4 have already qualified. We're not sure if they know that. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But how important are these 3rd runs maybe to kind of put those other 3 young ladies on notice? Hey, a month from now, Minneapolis, be ready for what I'm about to put down.
They may not know right now. There's a very real possibility that they don't know that they've already gotten those spots. But you know, the guys down there at California Productions, they're awesome. You know, running the comps and letting everybody know how things are unfolding there. There is a video wall out there, but it's kind of tucked away in the corner over there, so I don't know if they're paying attention to that. But it's important. You're hungry. You want to win here, or you at least want to stand on the podium here for sure. And
right.
Yeah, you can use this as a dry run going into Minneapolis.
Yeah, set the tone going onto the world's biggest stage.
How about that 1-foot invert there in the corner? Getting a little home country representation there.
The lone Aussie in our field, 3rd place is where she will sit. as she moves on to X Games Minneapolis.
You know, it's a good dry run. You can set your eyes on Minnesota and say, okay, the crowds are going to be bigger. It's, you know, the cameras are going to be rolling again. So this is a good dry run for the pressure situation that you may experience up there at US Bank Stadium.
Next to drop in our current leader. She has set the tone all day long, sitting with that 76. Does she stand pat, or does she go for it all and try and bump up her score even further as we take a look at this unique line from Hannah Zancy?
Well, started off using one of those street obstacles there. Oh, the frontside ollie. Just did her in right there, kind of buckling across on the flat there. Front side nose pick and then foot planting out of that. I don't know if that was the original intent there. Is that front side 270 boneless over the hip? Come on, she's skating like a boss out here. She's got a broken left wrist. What a showing out of her.
She puts her claim out there. She knows she doesn't need to do anything. She sits in the top spot. She's earned a berth in the X Games Minneapolis. It will be her first ever X Games appearance. Hannah Zancy, what a performance out here at Boise today.
Well, even if they did tell the girls out there, hey, you're already in, I don't know that Kiana would have grasped that because she doesn't speak very much English.
That's right.
Kiana
Ogawa, who's sitting in second place.
Out.
That's right.
Someone needs to go up and say, hey, Kiana, it's okay. Otsukare this, which basically means good job in Japanese, and let her know that she made this. She looked a little stressed up there.
The Huntington Beach native Zancy will hold on to her 76 from run number 1. And first place is where you will say, yeah, no kidding, Ogawa.
Could someone please get Kihana's translator over there and let her know to breathe? Breathe right now.
Just enjoy this run as you sit in second place. You've already earned a spot to X Games Minneapolis, girl.
Into that front side lip slide there, handling that one like a champ.
Just 16 years old.
That backside tail stall again.
And I love this story. Christian Hosoi, Jimmy, sponsored her on the spot after her performance in the Exposure Bowl AM win last November. She's got the chops.
Yeah, that's a great guy to have in your corner there. Great mentor to have. There you go. Here comes the Miller flip, grabbing for that one. So we're 3 for 3 out of this young lady with the Miller flip.
There's no question. The name of the game for Kiana, consistency.
Oh,
wow!
The kickflip to rock to fakie. That was after the buzzer. I don't know if that one will actually count.
Kiana, you're already in X Games.
But now she's finally smiling.
Maybe she knew the whole time. Was this a ruse, Kiana?
She was waiting for the cameras. She was playing into the moment, Brandon. She
A
was playing into the moment.
75.33 was her best score. Is that enough to be the top ranked qualifier?
She does that front side grind into the tail stall, and then, or tail stop, I guess I should say, and then she kind of kicks it over to a little over grind. She didn't do it this time around, but right there.
I don't know if it
counted. It was after the buzzer.
It seemed as good as her first run, but not quite according to the judges. A 71, so second place is where she will stay. And as we said, the top 4 already in. Zancy, Ogawa, Poppy Olson, and our last skater to drop in. She sat in the bubble spot this entire round. Brighton Zoiner. Incredible.
Pressure's off now. Dusted off. I don't know if she knows that. She's smiling. That's a good sign. Either way, I don't think she's going to lay up this run.
She's been skating with so much confidence today.
I like that little line she's got where she kind of, a little bit of a pop ollie off of that hip into a rock and roll slider there. There's that Andrecht.
Just missed the podium in 2016, had to settle for a 4th place. We know she's got the bag of tricks to get on the podium. She's even claiming it mid-run.
You see her with the fist pump there out of that kickflip. That front foot was not in the spot ideally you want it to be coming over that hip, but she saves it. There's that backside 180 blunt. There's that gate twist coming up fakie, mute 360. Backside knee revert, gets her around. Brushing the hair out of her face like it's no big deal. Boom! Throws down the gauntlet here in the 3rd and final run.
That's 12-year-old Brighton Zoiner.
That's a gnarly one at the end of the run. I'm telling you, you're out of gas. Your legs are kind of giving out after 45 seconds. You're going up into that disaster. You're bringing that one around an extra 180, and you're coming around blindsided out of that one. And you're just trusting that you put enough pressure on that front foot to get that back truck to clear the lip and swing that one around to come down
It
fakie.
should be noted, Brighton Zoiner, is this enough to put her in the top spot? Hannah Zancy, who's currently in first place, more than twice Brighton's age. Brighton, 12 years old. Hannah, 25.
I wasn't told there was going to be math today. I was wanting to see the backside.
An 80.33. Welcome to first place, Brighton Zoiner, on the final attempt here in the event.
She didn't even have to do it.
You were already in, Brighton. Oh, my goodness. And that's what we talked about before. Maybe this last attempt is an opportunity to put the field on notice. Hey, ladies, I know all 4 of us have made it into X Games Minneapolis, but I'm the one you should be chasing.
It's a chess match. Yes, you have to go out there. You have to do the physical. You have to do the skating, but there's also a big head game involved in this as well. So this is, it's great strategy moving forward. I mean, we're basically a month away from this party getting started up there in Minnesota, but what a big finish there for Brighton.
Insane performances from the top 4. Brighton Zoiner, Hannah Zancy, Kiana Ogawa, and Poppy Olson. Congratulations, all 4 of you ladies have earned spots in X Games Minneapolis.
Yeah, I mean, again, you got to give her props for the end of that backside disaster revert at the very end of the run. We saw her try that in run number 2. She had it for the most part, but then came back and did it again there in that 3rd run and made it happen. But wow, in that last run when she didn't even have to do it. But what a great showing by all 12 of our competitors here. And as I said at the beginning of the show, the future of women's park skateboarding looks bright, Brandon.
Yeah, it is so competitive out here. I mean, I think those top 4 definitely set themselves apart, but you look at some of the great skating we saw today. I mean, Alicia Lee, Hunter Long, Indy Asp, Nicole House. I mean, all of these ladies put on great performances, and they're not going on to X Games Minneapolis. But let's head down to Corbin Harris, who's with our top-ranked qualifier, Brighton Zoiner.
Yes, I am with her right now. Tell us your feeling. What's going on inside you right now, the emotion?
Well, going into this, I was very nervous, and that big just release of I'm speechless right now. I'm so happy.
Once you knew you were relaxed, you were feeling good, and you were already through to Minneapolis, is that when you could kind of let go and really give it all in your last run?
Yeah, so before I was just like, oh my God, I just didn't know what to expect. So I just wanted to get the crowd pumped, and thanks for everyone for coming, and it was an awesome time.
Well, you did fabulous. We can't wait to see you in Minneapolis. Boise, big round of applause.
Thanks, Corbin. Yeah, and honestly, that was such a great performance from Brighton Zoiner. And really, I think we saw it last year in Austin. At 11 years old, the youngest female competitor ever at X Games. That's winter or summer, by the way. She skated with such confidence, even last year in Austin. And you see that carry over, and I think she's taken it to another level here in 2017.
So going back to what we said before that interview, would you say that the future of park skateboarding looks Brighton?
Oh my
I can't take credit for that. That was Vince from research.
I feel like maybe Vince might have stolen that from me.
I'm just saying, he wrote it down. I was going to throw that one out there. Every now and then you got to drop a zinger in the show for Vince and the research team right there.
A zinger for Zoiner. Brighton Zoiner
you're on the board.
was just terrific all day. And again, to have your back up against the wall the entire 3rd run. She was sitting in that bubble spot. No one, you want to be in top 4, but no one wants to be in that elimination zone. She was in it, and she's the last one to drop in. So she had to watch 11 other girls drop in, wondering if that's where she was going to stay. It would have been amazing if she would have gotten knocked out and saved that performance for the final attempt, but what can you say that hasn't already been said about Brighton Zoiner?
What a crazy rush of emotion, though, because as you said, you're watching all that go down, and then you've got that intensity building up, and in your mind, you're going over it. You're like, okay, I got to do this, I got to do this. Probably thinking about that backside disaster revert a couple of times over in her head, and then even if she did realize or not, I'm already in, but then to go out there and have to do that, great job for her, and again, great job by all 12 of our competitors here today.
Well, let's hand out some hardware to our top 4 that are moving on to X Games Minneapolis.
All right, we are back. Big round of applause for the women's skateboard park, Boise. What an unbelievable effort, these guys. 20 skaters down to 12 today, and now these guys are going to go into Minneapolis to battle it out. In fourth position, big round of applause for Poppy Olson. In third place, Kahano Guada. In second, Hannah Zanzi. And in first, Brighton Zoyner. Right now we have the host of X Games. Big round of applause for Jack Mantrani. He is going to give the winners their little passes that go straight through to meet the other three girls in Minneapolis. Just get tight for a photo, ladies. Big round of applause again, guys. Boise, these guys, the best skateboarders in the world. The best women athletes on the planet. We're just going straight into practice now for the men's. Stick around, guys, and we will be back real soon. Thank you.
Brighton Zoyner, Hannah Zanzi, Kiana Ogawa, and Poppy Olson. Moving on to X Games Minneapolis, but Jimmy, it was so fun to watch all 12 competitors put it down here today in Boise.
Making it look too easy at times and throwing in some tech variety, and Brighton Zoyner getting it done on that third and final run. Even though she didn't have to, she already had a qualifying spot, but walks out of here in Boise with top honors, which is a great way to start off looking at Minnesota here next month for the X Games.
Jordan Barrett, Lizzie Armanto, Kisa Nakamura, that's our podium from 2016. They are automatically qualified. And Brighton Zoyner, Hannah Zanzi, Kiana Ogawa, and Poppy Olson will be joining them. Fun times here at Rhodes Skatepark. Thanks for checking it out. For Jimmy, Corbin, I'm Brandon Graham. Thanks for watching. It's been fun here at the Road to X Games Women's Skateboard Park Qualifier.